Hey y'all, if y'all want to see how I go from this to that using a different crochet method, you better stay tuned. Now what I did is I thought I'll show y'all a new crochet method for those who don't know how to cornrow like I do, because I really suck at it. So what I'm doing is I'm sectioning off the front part of my head just to have that, you know, out of the way. The back of my head, I just did big old plaits. It doesn't really matter how many you do. I just have maybe like 15 in the back of my head. Now, I'm not the best of cornrow braider, so y'all just gonna have to bear with my little, you know, bitty struggle braids that I have. But like I said, what I'm doing is I'm braiding a cornrow on the right side of my head and on the left side of my head. Basically, you know how you flip your hair back and forth when it comes to the crochet so you can see the part. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to just have two cornrows on the right side and on the left side, but the back of my head is just, I just have basic plaits, you know, just braid it in the back, or you can twist it in the back. It's definitely up to you. Now, as you can see, I have one cornrow on the left side and one on the right side. My little struggle cornrow braids, girl, hey. But I'm just going to spray my hair with some argan oil leave-in conditioner just to keep my hair moisturized while it's underneath, you know, the crochet. Also between the cornrows, I don't know if you saw, but I also have plaits going on in the middle of my head as well. But I'll show you later on exactly how I'm going to complete this crochet. Now you're going to take a wig net cap, stretch it out a little bit because, you know, I got a big head and I ain't trying to have no headaches wearing no wig cap. But you just want to stretch it out a little bit, and you're going to basically put that on top of the cornrow braids. Why did I just say it so slow like that? Now what I'm doing is I'm marking off with concealer where I braided my hair at on both sides, because after I begin crocheting later on, I'm actually going to cut the cap of exactly where, you know, those marks are, and I'm going to begin by crocheting on top of those braids and on top of the cap as well. Now, one thing to note is to scoot your cap behind your hairline, because you want to basically protect your edges, especially if you have thinning edges. I know I do from having micros so much as a kid and playing basketball. So just scoot your cap behind your hairline. It also prevents having too much tension on that hairline as well. Once again, I'm using the Jamaican bounce curl because, honey, I have an obsession with it, yes. But you can check out my previous tutorial and review on the hair if you want to see how I maintain the hair. But when I purchased this hair, I realized I had got it in a red and blonde color without paying attention to the actual name of the color. But we're just going to make it work, girl, because both of the colors is cute. Now I'm just going to begin with the typical crochet method, but instead of, you know, crocheting on each braid, we're just going to crochet on top of the net cap, which makes it a lot more easier for those who don't know how to braid, or for those who don't have time to, you know, wait for somebody to braid their hair for you. Right here, I'm just showing you a little bit more close of how I actually crochet inside of the net cap. You can go to 3 or 4 holes. It's definitely up to you of exactly, you know, how you want to space out your holes when it comes to the crochet. But I find it a lot easier to go through about 4 holes and maybe like a finger width apart, because, you know, you don't want to have too much hair and make it look extra wiggy on top of your head. Now remember when I pushed the wig cap behind my hairline? Now I am just going to crochet on the hairline, not necessarily on the wig cap where that band is, because like I said, it just releases a lot of that tension of having that direct band on top of your hairline. So if you just crochet on top of your hair, it makes it a lot easier and it looks natural. Now, as you can see on the top of my head, I have a bunch of unnecessary crochet cap that I don't need. Now, one way to minimize that instead of crocheting through it all is we're just going to cut the top of that crochet cap off. Now, after I cut the top of that crochet cap off, I am left with, you know, a hole on the top of my cap. Now, since we don't want any braids peeking through that cap, what we're going to do is we're going to take one side of the cap and the other side of the cap, and we're going to overlap each other. So we're going to stretch one to one side and the other to the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the crochet hook and we're going to crochet, to those connected parts. It's basically, like sewing a thread between two parts and trying to, sew up a rip that you have in your jeans. It's the exact same thing. Now remember those two braids that I had told you about in the beginning? We're going to go ahead and cut the crochet cap of where I marked that concealer at, and that honestly relieves a lot of tension from my head because of that band. So we're just going to cut that cap right there on both sides, and we're going to begin crocheting on top of the braid. To minimize the loose braids that are in between the two cornrows, we're just going to take that part that we cut. As you can see, we're going to stretch it over the middle part of the hair and just begin by crocheting that on top of the hair as well, so we can keep that in place. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and start crocheting on top of the braid, so that way we can have the option of flipping the hair either way, so we can have that illusion of a part right there as well. Now, after about 3 hours, we are done. Hey! Now we're just going to go ahead and gel the edges down, trim the hair, put a little bit of mousse on it, and I'll show you the finished product. So yeah, I hope this new crochet method helps you out a lot. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see some more tutorials or anything that you particularly want to see, let me know. And I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.